In this module, we will be talking about the variable view, and we will also look at the various characteristics of the variables that need to be added when we enter the data in SPSS. Since we already know that SPSS data file will have two views, data view and variable view. In the variable view, there will be 11 characteristics for each and every variable that will be added into the data view. The very first one is the name, then it comes the type, width, decimals, labels, values, missing values indicators, columns, align, measure, and role. For each and every variable that's added into the SPSS data editor, will have all these characteristics defined. And all these characteristics play a very vital role in performing the analysis as well. Let's firstly talk about the name of a variable. Each variable name may be of any length, but ideally it should be shorter than 10 characteristics. One should make sure that variable name must begin with a letter. But after that, any letter, number, a period, or a symbol like @ hash, underscore, or $sign may be used. However, the name may not end with a period sign. All variable names must be unique. Duplicates are not allowed in SPSS. Variable names are not sensitive to upper or lower case, like ID in caps or small letters will all be identified as the same. Because they have a unique meaning in SPSS, certain variable names may not be used, including all, NE, EQ, to, LE, LT, BY, OR, GT, and not, GE, and with. These are the various variable names that one cannot enter because these are the names for certain functions which are used in SPSS to perform various mathematical tasks. The other tab that's very important to add is the type. As soon as you click and add any variable name and press enter, by default, various characteristics of any variable will be entered. One can change them according to the type of the variable. The second thing is type of the variable, and when you click on a cell in any row under the type, you notice a small grayed box to the right of the word numeric. If you click on a box, a new dialog box will open up. This dialog box contains various types of variables that SPSS does accept. It's numeric, comma, dot, scientific notation, date, dollar, custom currency, string, or restricted numeric. Notice that numeric is selected. Most of your variables will be numeric, and you will allow the default setting to stand. There are two non-numeric variables, or there could be more than two non-numeric variables in our data sets. A variable that contains letter is called a string variable. Whereas if we are working with dates in our data, we can always take the variable type as date. And similarly, scientific notation and other. The most commonly used variable type to perform a statistical analysis is a numeric type variable. Even if our data is non-numeric, like most of the time in the case of categorical variables, we convert it by giving all the categories a numeric code into a numeric type variable. One should know that it's always very easy to handle a numeric variable while we perform statistical analysis into it. The next tab is width. By default setting, width is 8. In the width column, you determine the largest number or longest string that will occur for each variable. Then it comes the decimals. Many times when we enter our variable as numeric, we have the variable with some decimal positions. Like if there is a numeric value like 3.76, then there are 2 decimal places. So for such variables that has data up till 2 decimal places, we'll keep it to the 2 decimal places. But in case if there are more than 2 decimal places like 3.769, then in this case, after the decimal, we have 3 digits written. So that will count as a 3 decimal places. So we need our variable settings to be specified to the 3 decimals. And to make this, we'll come here, we'll click on the upper tab here. Or we can type the whole thing in it and press enter. This will make it 3 decimal places, which will account for all the data points or data values that are having a 3 decimal places after the decimal. The next tab, and very important characteristics, is label. Since we already know that name of any variable should be very precise, yet informative, but many a times we are unable to write the variable name to be so comprehensive, or it doesn't give us the whole lot of information about the characteristics of our variable. Therefore, we use the label as one of the important variable characteristic where we have the liberty to type number of things here. Like if it's ID, the variable name, then in the label we can add that this is the identification number of the respondent or the participant. Many times I have noticed that people do not write the label and they just write the abbreviated variable names. And once, even with my own data, if I get back to my data and see it after a few months, I'm unable to figure out that what abbreviations I have used to identify my variable name. Hence, putting the label is always going to be helpful because it explains a lot of information about our variable.